Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northern Beaches #1 podcast. I'm Zach, he's Elliot, and you're again listening to The Whip. Today we've got a really awesome episode. We've got the boys from HIATUS down here. Well, we're here, not down there. But so Jake, Jackson, thanks for coming on, boys.
Thanks for having us.
He's got a pretty professional intro, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, where did that come from?
He snaps into character.
I've been practicing like months on end.
In the mirror.
Beautiful stuff.
In the mirror.
Try my best not to stutter, but boys, what a day. Thanks for coming.
No worries, man.
I love the studio.
Thank you.
It's
Welcome.
mad. It's
Appreciate
mad. How did you find it? Because we've been looking for creative spaces because we can no longer stinge off friends or send our parents out for lunch. So how did you find the space and how much research and how long did it take? Because it's mad.
Do you want to answer this?
Yeah, I guess we kind of did a lot to get to this place. It was probably a year of humming and ahhing, going to countless. How many do we reckon we went to? Probably about five different places that we were like, oh yeah, this is awesome. We put an application in and find out that there's another 3 applications already handed in on the first day, and we're like, oh gosh, we're behind the 8 ball. To find a place like this, we were like, let's start getting ahead of that. So we put together a bunch of flyers and went around Brookvale, and every factory that we thought was something that we could turn into something, we were literally putting flyers under the door in the middle of the night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually pretty, looking back on it now, it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Because at the time it was we've got to do whatever we can to get a spot. But looking back, it was driving the van, the side door open, 200 flyers, one person just running. It was
oh, really?
It's a kidnapping.
It was that adults paper run.
Yeah.
Just that one looks sick. Throw it under and just constantly running, driving,
running around Brookie.
all these streets till past midnight.
How many weeks did you do that for?
We did that for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2.
It was probably it wasn't every night for 2 weeks. There's only so many
nights that we could get.
So many warehouses in Brookvale, but we did it in Cromer and some surrounding suburbs as well.
Yeah.
And how much research did you do before knowing which ones, or you just looked at it and it was that one looks good, or what was the criteria?
The internet's kind of centralized around real estate, right? And it's all the places that are listed are already kind of on the books, and if you are in with the real estate, you kind of are on that list, so you're kind of getting first preference. And we were let's beat these guys at their own game and start the conversation. So we started the conversation with owners around the place. We got ProDive called us up, was one of the first people around the corner. They're we got warehouse space. You guys want to come and have a look at it? And it was a bit small for our liking, but we were stoked. We were like, oh, this is actually working. People are calling up about our flyers. This is sick. And then there was a guy over the back near Warringah Mall we had a chat to. He was an old bloke running a, what was it? It was a
cabinet making
business.
Yeah.
And we talked to him about it, and he was like, wait, you'd pay that much for rent? I don't even earn that in a salary. He owned the joint.
Oh, wow.
And we actually talked him into his retirement.
The dude has shut down his business. He's renting out his space, making more than he was, working 50 hours a week.
You guys should have asked for a cut.
Yeah. I said it to the boys. I was like, wait, let's get on that.
Yeah.
Let's just go find some weathered old guys around.
Yeah,
you
guys should become property developers. Yeah.
100%.
But we nearly signed on a couple other spots. Yeah. I would say I was probably the most particular in what we wanted. I wanted it to be single level. I wanted there to be parking. I wanted to be able to do events out of the space.
Yeah.
As well as have, the ability to do photo shoots. We are a photo studio first and foremost, but just having the ability and the modularity to be able to throw an event or do a product launch or someone do a catwalk or whatever it is, was pretty important to me. So yeah, like I said, we nearly signed on a couple, and then one fell through, one we decided against, and then this thing sort of fell in our lap. Yeah. And I luckily knew the people that were in here before, but had no idea that they were looking at moving.
Yeah, right.
So I caught wind. When I had contacted them, 100 people had reached out before we had via message. So it's really competitive.
Yeah.
And I sort of just hustled. I was like, we're getting this spot.
How important is networking in this industry? Because I imagine it's basically everything. So like you were saying about the place, like you knew the people. Is it the same when you bring people in to use your space? Is it just like 99% networking, or do you find it's a balance between people coming to you as well as you reaching out?
This is an interesting question. We kind of found that out in the first few months, because we were like built like most of our front end as internet facing for people to be able to book online and stuff, and we're like, yeah, we're getting reach, but we're not getting people interested. And then we kind of wanted to kind of change our model, and we just realized that it's actually the people we know and the contacts that we have in the industry are more likely to be the people, rather than just cold people searching on Google to find us. So yeah, we spend a lot of time in that and in networking and finding and building like the brand behind this. Like, we didn't want to have just Joe Blogs come and use this. We were really particular. We did have Joe Blogs at the start, like had a few interesting people come in and hire the place, and we were like, yeah, cool, like I'm not going to discriminate and say we won't have you, but we just focused on the people that we wanted to have, brands that like we align with, brands that are, you know, in our industry. And yeah, it's been like a journey of just building on that.
That's mad. Do you think that's because people, like, probably, especially in this, they want to be able to trust like who they come with? Because obviously, like, if you book out a day of photo shooting, like, you want to make sure everything's like we've been in situations where even though it was only half an hour, like we went through so much effort only to have it turn to shit. So do you think that's like people trust you and they know you're going to put in effort to like reward them back? And then I guess a question on top of that is, what do you do to help them set up for the shoot? Like, or is it literally just like, come and use the space, we'll make sure it's free?
Yeah, I mean,
relationships.
It's a lot of like relationship building. I mean, the thing with a business model like this is the single transaction is actually quite significant, because you're taking a space for an entire day, and generally speaking, you're hiring this space to create significant revenue for whatever your business is, whether it's fashion or you're an agency or whatever. So having that trust from the client to come here was really hard at the start. That's why we did leverage a lot of our sort of fashion relationships that we've developed over the years, because for us, we want to be a really premium. We want to be the most premium photography studio on the Northern Beaches. And in order to do that, you obviously have to have the facility, but you also have to have the right people in the space.
100%.
Because, you know, your Rush magazines or your whoever are not just going to come here out of nowhere. Like, you have to, it takes time to build, to get them in the space and confident enough to, you know, trust us and what we've done to execute what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, everyone's coming in here to try and execute on the vision or the brief or whatever it is. So we had that in mind when we set the space up. We wanted people to be able to do anything in here, and it worked perfectly. And then to your other question, I mean, it's all just about communication.
Yeah.
You know, it's about communicating with the client beforehand. What are your objectives? What are your needs? And then having that just clearly outlined and detailed from our end and their end, so that when they come in, it's really smooth. I think for us, and sort of touching on the name of the business, HIATUS, you know, HIATUS is a lot of things to a lot of people, but generally it's like a time of relaxing and taking a step back and chilling. And the industry that we're trying to reach or trying to service is really high-end, cutthroat, fast-paced. So we wanted to create a space that serviced that industry, but also took the pressure off a little bit and allowed them to come in and be like, and like, people say it, they walk in like, oh, it's so calm in here, it's so nice in here. We love shooting here. So that's like a big win for us. And I think part of that is why people keep sort of coming back.
Yeah, sure. And what made you settle on the Northern Beaches? Because are a lot more photo studios maybe the inner west?
Because we live
city?
here.
Yeah, is that was
We
a
don't
choice?
want
Convenience. Yeah. Fair.
I mean, yeah, that, but also there wasn't really anything offering what we offer on the beaches. There's some amazing studios around, you know, on the Northern Beaches. There's some incredible studios on the other side, heavily populated sort of Alexandria.
I was going to say it's all in the east, hey?
Yeah.
There's like a lot over there.
But there was sort of nothing this scale with 2 studio offerings and some of the features like the cyclorama that we've got, which is like an infinity wall. We've got 3 walls on that, and it's probably the biggest in the area, I believe. So yeah, that was why we wanted to bring something to the beaches that wasn't here yet, and we didn't want to have to travel.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess people, it's a nice area to tell people to come to, like Northern Beaches, you know.
We also are a big believer of like the creativity that's here. Like it's pretty untapped, but there's so many artists, songwriters, like musicians, like heaps of cool creative people that are this side of the beaches, and there's so much talent that's here that, you know, is going across the bridge almost every day to kind of do it. There's like heaps of models, photographers and stuff, and we're like, yeah, like why can't we do this here? Like why does it all have to be on the other side? And I think, you know, it's kind of similar. You look at Pittwater Road and you've got like all the Cole Crawfords. There's like so many Cole Crawfords, all the car yards, and they're all in like the one spot. But it's like we've kind of wanted to separate ourselves and establish ourselves in like, yes, an industrial area that's cool and, you know, vibey. Like Brookvale is on the up of creativity.
Yeah, it is.
That was one
sure.
thing that we were just like, we really fought for, because we were like, we looked at Warriewood, we looked at Motorvale industrial areas, all these other places, and we were like, yeah, maybe we go up there. It's a bit cheaper. It's a little bit more like beachy. But we saw actually what the council's plan for Brookvale is and the gentrification that was happening over the next 5-10 years. And we're like, we want to be a part of that. Like we want to actually get in and actually help see that happen. And that was like one of the main reasons we kind of like got to the top of the list with previous guys here and getting in with the real estate, because they were like, oh, we're actually big believers of what you guys are doing. And I think that's like one of the things that we've always had. Like it was the vision from the start to have creativity like as a forefront, not just as like a business to do business things. And that's like what we're really passionate about in the people coming here as well. Like answer your question before, like we actually want to see that people succeed in their shoot and like come in and use it and use the space or use the gear or shoot something and create something great and come away from it and go, I can't wait to get back there. And it's not because we're like, oh, we want repeat customers. We actually just liked seeing that great thing happen for them. And we've always been champions of that. Like we've initiated things like our Side View project, which is kind of like celebrating artists and different creatives. That's like part of who we want to do, like who we want to be as a brand and a business, is like building others and building others' creativity, not trying to take. Because I think that's where a lot of those other studios over the other side are just trying to take. Trying
Money.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And they kind of, you know, it's smart business to try and make money, right? And that's what we're trying to do. But at the same time, you know, give back and be something that helps build others. So
relatable.
Sure. Yeah. It's a very creator focus first, like helping other people in the area grow.
Yeah.
I did see that Side View thing on your website. So how does that work? So at the moment you've got 3 artists on it that you're promoting. So what is it? Tell us more about how Side View works. And
You can do it.
Oh, well, how it kind of works. Jake actually came up with the name. A profile view is a side view of someone. And we just wanted to profile some artists that we like. Most of them are our friends or people that we know that we think just are brilliant in what they do. Like Yarko's a photographer, a really talented photographer, travels the world. Otis, incredible surfer, but amazing artist. Like people that we want to celebrate that are doing creative things. And we kind of came from it as like, let's look at the person behind the art or behind the form and unpack what that is. And I think like if you kind of look through the content, we're trying to draw out of them like how'd they get into it, how'd they start, because we wanted it to not just be a moment to celebrate that person, but for others that are reading it to kind of come away from it and be like, oh, I'm inspired to go after this thing. So yeah, it was kind of, that's the notion of it, and that's what we wanted to do with it.
How'd you guys get into it then? You talk about how asking, you know, why they got it, how they got into it. Yeah. How'd you guys come up with like this? Because like our one, how we got into this was on a Byron trip, hammered. So like, was it same kind of stuff? We were going through a lot at the time together. Like it was like 3 a.m. walking home, bad way.
Elliot was crying.
Yeah, I was crying at the time, just so drunk. Couldn't tell you why. I'm not normally an emotional drunk either. So it was one of the Byron Bay will do that to you. I got too woke. But so how'd you guys come up with like the whole concept for this?
Yeah, this was kind of like a COVID dream.
Yeah.
Obviously COVID was traumatic for a lot. And we, Jacko, myself, and our other buddy Tim were out at coffee, and Jackson is a videographer, photographer, designer. And he was like, "Oh, I'd love to open my own studio." We were like, "Dude, you should do it. Like, why don't you do it?" We're just like stuck, couldn't leave, the northern end of the northern beaches at this time.
It was at the time where they were like, you can only surf for an hour.
Yeah, who's policing that?
Yeah.
Like,
we surfed only for an hour.
Yep.
But
wink, nudge, nudge.
Jacko was like, we were just like, "Dude, do it." He's like, "Yeah, like I can do this and this, but I can't market it, and I don't have skills to sell it, and I don't have skills to build it." And we all sort of looked at each other, and I was like, "Well, I can market it and sell it." And our other buddy Tim was like, "Well, I can build it." And we sort of just kicked it off from there. And it was like, "Oh, we should do this.
Yeah.
Let's do it." And it was sort of, it always has been and still is, the combination of skills. I couldn't turn a camera on if you wanted me to. But I own a photography studio. So I depend on Jacko for a lot. He probably doesn't depend on me for that much. But
No, I feel that. I have a podcast that records, and I barely know how to turn a camera on. So I relate to that.
But yeah, that's how it sort of started, and it was a pretty long process. Obviously, the lockdown slowed us, but it was also then just like the whole process of getting our fonts and logo and brand colors. And then we couldn't do anything until we had a space.
Yeah.
Because every warehouse is shaped differently. So what we ended up with determined what the layout looked like and what we could offer. So we were sort of in limbo for quite a while. Probably 9 months of just like, everything's ready to go in the back end. We've got the name, we've got everything sorted. We just don't have a space. Yeah. And then as soon as we landed this joint, it was on.
Go.
It was like on.
Long hours?
Dude, like it literally nearly killed us. Yeah. Like Jacko nearly lost his hand in the reno. I was just like, I was a zombie. I was working full time as a GM for a fashion agency in the city. So I would like finish work at 5, drive here from 6 till 11:30 midnight. Yeah. Renovate, paint, drive home, wake up at 6. So we did like 2 months on probably paint 4 or 5 hours a night just cooking ourselves.
We lost a lot of weight too.
Yeah.
We were just like,
it was
energy.
It was pretty gnarly. Yeah. Especially because like we've all got families, wives and or kids. So it was it wasn't just taxing on us, it was taxing on everyone.
Them. Yeah.
Because we were so absent. Even every Saturday we were down here. Sunday was like the day off. Yeah. And then even then it's like,
was it much of a day off? I was just going to say, yeah. Because like it's always in the back of your head or stuff. Yeah. Just sitting at the table staring into space.
Constantly. But yeah, I mean, we got the keys and then it was like 3 months later we had to gut the whole thing. Like it was cooked in here. It looked like a squatter's house. Like it was pretty brutal. Yeah. So we like had to grind all the floors back, paint all the walls, build all the internal stuff. And then while we're doing that, still like get content, market, start the outreach. Yeah. And then we're all working full time. So it was pretty fried.
I'm sure it's worth it now though.
What was the worst day in the renovation? Is the one that sticks out?
I mean, it's quite a blur. The worst week for me was probably I like bumped my head at home and like knocked myself out. Yeah. And yeah, it was so
like full
cool.
concussed, like
fully concussed,
concussion.
I regressed in my ability to exist as a human.
We're like, Jake, hey,
It's like a
dude,
Sunday.
how you going? He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, good.
I was, and like,
We're like,
still having to like get stuff done, or at least try to, when I was in that state, was probably the most cool.
Were you
thing.
super emotional? Because concussion makes you super
Yeah,
emotional.
dude. So, I mean, we were rattled.
Yeah. Anyway.
whole-
Also
Yeah.
had like probably one of the worst jobs to do out of all of us. He was like up some scaff in the middle of the night. See these rafters up here?
Yeah.
Painting them with just a
By hand.
by hand.
The friggin' landlords, God bless them. we originally asked, we were like, can we just gut the joint, get someone in here with a sprayer and just spray the whole thing white? They were like, they're like older couple. No, we want to keep that silver that you can see there. And we went back like 2-3 times. Please just let us spray the thing.
Nah.
No. So I've everything that's white in here,
It's painted.
hand painted 2 to 3 coats.
Fucking
And
hell.
it's oil based. So Jake's up there concussed. Fumes, just
Crying.
Yeah.
He needed remember how you just needed someone up there for emotional support.
It was
So really down
It's a
bad.
tough task. And you get up there and you just be like, yeah, this sucks. This is the worst job.
and like pulling myself along the metal trusses on this huge scaffolding.
Yeah. 4.5 meters.
I'd
up
just
there.
be like, this is so cooked. Why am I doing this?
It took probably a month to paint just the raft.
100%.
But a wall would be like an hour and a half.
I got pretty good at painting though. I know my
Yeah.
backup plan.
Yeah.
I'll
If
become
you
a painter after this.
if things go to shit, I can't see that happening because you've obviously had some events here. One I'm super interested in is the Cam
Dude, so
Chatka.
Cam
How did-
Chatka, pretty
Yeah.
close, eh?
How did? Yeah. Thank you. How did that movie's fucked? But like, how did?
sick is it?
Yeah. When they're in, they just get to Russia and the fucking war kicks
Dude,
off. Is
Dude, they were
nuts.
they were on the flight, and they're like on the plane. They were like,
Russia's just in
no,
it.
sorry, they were on a stopover
Yeah.
and watching the TV screen.
They're in
It was-
Dubai, weren't they? I'm
yeah,
pretty
they were in
sure.
Dubai.
Yeah.
Dude,
About to fly.
I
into
would have
it.
turned around straight away.
Oh, 100%.
They were
100%.
they're psychos.
Absolute psychos.
So how did you get in touch with those boys? Or did
Yeah,
they reach
like-
out to you?
They reached out to us.
Yeah.
A mutual friend sort of put them in touch with me, and I'd known the guys from around, but I'd never really spent time with them before.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, we've been working on this project for the last 12 months. This is what we did." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Come in. Yeah.
And they were like, "We're doing this book launch, and we want to show the trailer to the film." And I was just like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Called
Mhm.
Jacko. I'm like, "Dude, we need to do this."
Yeah, they
Like,
they're
we're
winning like
doing this.
they're winning like awards
Dude,
like
they've taken the thing,
everywhere.
like, across the globe.
Yeah, like
They're
and
in
they're
the US
huge.
right now, just
They just won some big
dominating.
award.
Yeah.
I don't know what country it was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got Guy, who was the photographer, and who sort of had majority play in the book. He came through, and I just sort of talked him through the space, showed him how the wall opens up, because we've got the 2 studios, but then there's a really large modular wall that is on wheels. So that can actually move out, and the whole space can become one. So I showed that to him, and he was like, "We got to do this. Like, I want to project the trailer onto there. I want to do the books here." So we did the event. It was so sick.
Yeah, it was a-
It was like our first event. It was nearly a year ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Um,
crazy.
It was our first ever event, and there was like over 200 people in here.
You stressed?
Nah, I was frothing, dude. I was
Yeah,
like,
that-
frothing the whole time.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, this is so, and it was so cool for us too, because this is literally a month after we'd finished the renos,
Oh, right, okay.
and there's 200
People in here.
people in here that like are essentially part of our like target demographic.
Did that get you clients, that launch? Is clients the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go businessy. Why not?
Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
a couple more events.
Yeah.
And a couple of shoots too.
Yeah.
It's more the awareness for us.
Yeah,
It's just
100%.
about like
Yeah,
The brand
people
alignment.
knowing that we're here.
we exist.
And knowing like what we can service
Yeah.
in regards to your needs.
Yeah.
So it was really good in that sense.
It definitely, even for us, like we've always loved surf films and especially adventure surf films. Like, to see that kind of be unpacked in this space and people able to celebrate the guys that have put that together, you get to play a part in that. And it was like we were pinching ourselves because we were like, these boys have like, you know, most of them from Av where we've lived for a few years, and it's just like, this is incredible that we can play a part in what they're doing and see that like this film gets, you know, the following that it deserves behind it, and just to be a part of that. Then we went to the premiere at the Orpheum, which was sick.
Yeah, so we felt like it was weird because we went to the Orpheum and watched it, and I personally felt like I was a part of it almost.
Yeah.
And it was,
Like,
yeah,
what
it was,
film?
I was like, I've got nothing to, I've literally done nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. That's that break. Like, look at me talking surf, talk tides and shit.
yeah,
It's nuts. Like, absolutely fucking
Dude,
nuts.
I literally would die.
Yeah.
And like, I can surf, not well, but
I can
would
barely
die.
swim. So, yeah, it was
But
crazy.
yeah, that night was psycho. And I think like having those people in here, amazing. But then at the completion of that night, just knowing that what we'd created actually works
Yeah.
was such a relief.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. What's like some other brands that are doing stuff here at the moment?
Like shooting here.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a few repeat guys. So like your Rush magazines are in here a little bit. There's an activewear brand called Muscle Republic.
Yeah.
Barney Cools, Zane Robe.
Barney Cool. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to work there, so
Oh, okay.
it'd be rude
Networking.
not to.
Yeah.
But then we've got like, I mean, Basic are in here a little bit. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Muscle Republic. That's big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were actually one of our first.
Yeah. Wow.
To reach out. They saw our Reno video on socials.
Is that the real one? The
Yeah.
Instagram reel with the getting the keys?
Yeah, we
I love
did like
that.
a
What's that?
5-part series, and then they kind of saw what we transformed it into, and some of the girls came down and wanted to see what it was like, like in person, and we were like, sick. And then we just made mates with them, and then they'd just been coming back ever since.
Yeah, they've been shot with us like twice a month, every month since.
That's Jethro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thought so. Yeah. Is he Beaches? Because they do stuff at. We had a guy on DY Calisthenics, and they're always in DY. Is he a Beaches guy?
Muscle Republic.
The guy who owns it?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
they're-
Beaches
He's
guy.
like he's like born and bred in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive.
And you did the vintage village markets
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, they're
How-
really fun.
How was that one? Is that a big one?
They're good. I mean, this young legend named Zoe is running them, so that it's actually separate to us. We are just offering the space, but it's good because it's community building and people get to come through, and it's a bit of a vibe. Like there's a crepe truck out there, coffee cart, people just sort of hanging out here for like 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you got to go. I want to pack up. It's Sunday.
Yeah, it's a really cool. Like it's almost full circle of what's happening. Like you got brands coming in and shooting new collections, but then you've got people coming through and doing like vintage sales.
Yeah,
of,
true.
like, stuff that's like 30, 40 years old that people are reusing and reselling, which is great. Like I think like that's something that we're conscious of and want to like, there's a lot of fashion that comes through this, and we like it in all forms. But yeah, I guess in terms of it's really cool to just see the different people that come through and how cool some of the stuff is that like you can get that's 30 years old, like mad denim jackets and stuff. So
Yeah, she's actually doing another one on the 2nd of December.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
cool.
the first one that she's doing at night.
Oh, night one.
Yeah, so it's
That'll be
like,
good.
it's like the Vintage Village, like 1 year, unofficial 1 year.
Yeah.
So there's going to be music and it's trading like into the night.
That'll be good. Night
Yeah.
markets are always a lot of fun.
So fun.
I'm going to Thailand soon, so I'll be in the night markets. What does the day-to-day look like for you guys, I guess? Like what's like, because you always have the events and obviously that's like the glamour and stuff, but there's regression to the mean, there's shit going on constantly. So like what's the day, like do you guys just sitting there pulling your head out some days? And like what's the day-to-day look
We
like?
don't really have time to pull our hair out,
Yeah.
but there's a whole bunch of jobs that you don't want to do. And like, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
And we've got, 600 square meters of internal space. So
aging warehouse that's
yeah,
maintenance constant.
I mean, it's just like constant maintenance and then also
Cleaning.
cleaning,
Accounting.
accounting, marketing, sales,
Who's the accountant?
customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back end, Jake manages all the inbound sales. and
Okay.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
Are you going? Is your goal to grow a team?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and kind of
Frickin' oath, mate.
yeah.
I'll drop dead if I keep doing this for too much longer.
Yeah, fair enough. But like, have it just basically self-sustaining, and you guys
Yeah.
can just go
Yeah,
and just sit back and enjoy what
for
you've
sure.
made.
I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about this a lot, and I never want to be far removed from it.
Okay.
In the sense that obviously it would be great to have someone running the day to day,
Yeah.
but I think what we've built is part of who we are,
Yeah.
and a part of what you get when you come to Hiatus is also something that we have built into the business. So
Yeah.
I never want to be too far removed from it, but I definitely want to have a team around us so that we can focus on the future and all the
Yeah.
other things that we want to expand into. Because, we've just started tapping into what we are calling the agency side. So we're actually generating content for brands ourselves.
Oh,
So shooting a bunch of e-com for brands, ghosting imagery, which is, if you're not aware, like you put the garment on a mannequin and
It's a model wearing a bed sheet.
yeah, instead of shooting it on a
you could have kept going with that. I would have believed you. I've got no creativity in my entire body.
instead of like a human wearing it, a mannequin's wearing it.
Yeah.
And you just get it perfect
Yeah.
so that they can then sell that on their online store. And then we've tapped into a little bit of like lifestyle stuff as well.
Yeah.
But the issue is like we just don't have the time. So
Time.
we're at the point now where it's like, cool, how do we expand this? We're looking at, outsourcing a few things to lighten the load so that we have the energy and the time to continue pushing it forward.
Yeah. See, that's the difference between you two and me. Just the drive. If it was me, I'd get this thing big and sail off into the sunset and just absolutely not worry about it ever again.
I mean, when I say still be involved, like having
Check the emails
having a
occasionally.
holiday would be nice.
Yeah.
We kind of are working on it. We're only 12 months old.
Yeah.
There's two of us.
Yeah.
We had to, we're still doing other work.
Yeah.
Just because we are putting most of what the business makes back into the business. So it's just a constant grind. And I think anyone that's ever started a business would have to agree with it. It's like,
I take my
Yeah.
hat off to anyone that's built anything in business because it's just it's so quick to like see stuff on social medias and YouTube and stuff like that of how to get rich quick. But a real business that can like sustain itself for even more than 6 months is hard work. And to see it get to 12 months, it's even harder work. But you kind of get to the point where it's kind of like, as a parent, you kind of see the kid get to the point where they can look after themselves. And we're kind of getting to that point now where we're like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah, we're so
but
close.
we also don't want it to get too far out of our
Out of
hands.
reach. Yeah.
I think it's just because it's dear to our hearts. Like this place is, we poured literally blood, sweat and tears into this place, and it's been a lot of work, and we don't want it to kind of get lost in, someone else's dream or someone else's vision. But in the same time, we also want to accelerate that at the same time. And I think that's the hard part of being able to, the next stages is building team for us and to kind of coach and mentor those people through what we've done to kind of be able to do what we're doing and keep it on brand. I think one of the saddest things is to see like a company that gets bought out or migrated or changed, and like the heart of the company just is gone. So there's a lot that we've put in, especially relationally, as we were talking before. Like a lot of the contacts we've spent the time to build relationships with. We don't really like, even though we call them clients, we want to be bros. We want to be friends with them.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's something that we're like passionate about to see that this place grow and go into the next phase that we want it to do, but like not get lost and not be too back seated and like kind of just watch it get away from us. So yeah.
Do you have like a dream client? Like if you could have anyone, who would it be?
K-Dot.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the clients that we've got that are coming in are were once a dream client,
Yeah.
True.
which
Yeah.
is like really cool to say.
Yeah.
And super grateful that we've had an opportunity to work with some of these guys. I think getting to the point where we have got, you know, globally famous,
Yeah.
you know, artists or whatever coming through and doing podcasts or filming music videos or whatever it may be, I think that would probably fall under the category of dream.
Yeah.
But then also, I'd like to get to the point where there's like proper fashion shows done here.
Yeah.
You know, like fashion week shows done out of our space and so on.
Yeah. It's even though I say K-Dot, that's like we joked about that from the start.
I messaged him actually.
Did he respond?
No, he didn't. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
If he does, that's great.
Yeah.
The worst is like when you get let on, but like we've DM'd like if they eventually come on, it's going to be awkward, and I won't say their names, but like we've DM'd like our Insta DMs are fucked. Like it's like
so
a desperate guy on Tinder. We look like a desperate white guy on Tinder.
but
Like
dude,
it's
like,
fucked. But
That's what we look like, desperate psychopaths when we're
Yeah.
throwing flyers under bloody warehouses.
true, we're not there yet.
But like, if one lands, you're sorted.
yeah,
Like, that's the first step.
true.
Like from here, people will be like, "Oh my god! Like, how did you get those hiatus guys on?"
Yeah,
People are already asking.
yeah.
I've been telling everyone all week. Like,
Mate,
we
we
got
were-
hiatus. They're like, how?
When you reached out, I was like, "Why do they want to talk to us?"
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting.
To talk about?
And it's like we like guests that have like people go, your guests are fucked. Like we had James Griffin on one week, and then Roger Fabry was on the next. So you know what I mean. So it's like,
All the opposites.
yeah, well, 100%. Which is something I actually had to like get over. Like we had a chat actually, because I was like, before the James Griffin one, I was like, this is just does not seem right.
Yeah.
So like,
Elliot was concerned about our audience, and I was like, our audience isn't big enough yet to be concerned about the guests. That we
I know. And it's like, it's good having completely different things, because like sometimes I get lost in my like self-centeredness of like sport or whatever, and it's like people don't just listen to that. So that's why we like having
sure.
these
Yeah, well, I mean,
completely
you're
different.
opening up
Diverse.
your audience,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've
and
got
who knows, your audience might be into something that you're not.
K-Dot might watch this one day and want to come on.
No.
Like you never know.
if you're watching.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So like, what's the
So is there like an individual for both of you, a benchmark that you'll hit where you'd both feel like, oh, we made it?
That's what I was exactly going to say. What's
Oh,
the
yeah.
end game? Yeah. What's the end game?
Oh, dude.
Surely you both have different ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly with the business and where it's at now. There's a benchmark that I want to get it to where we can both take healthy salaries and provide for our families, and also like give back more to the community, whether that's in the form of work or exposure for an up and coming photographer or a fashion designer or
Or
whatever
a
it is.
podcast?
Yeah.
Or a podcast.
Yeah.
I think that for me is, you know, that's the goal for now.
Yeah.
Beyond what you can currently see, there is dreams that we're not going to touch on now that we want to evolve hiatus into.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's levels to the goals.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, 100%.
And-
There always
and
is.
From when we started to now, we've hit heaps of them.
Yeah, awesome.
And there's a few more to go to get it.
Just a few.
To get it, I mean, there's always something to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on it.
I guess it's pretty similar, like to see the, you know, I guess in the long run to have built something that is something that can like give back in itself. It doesn't have to be on our own efforts. Like we'd love to see, like Jake was saying, like people be able to come through and build their businesses through this place and build their you know, label through this place. And I think for me to see, you know, others succeeding in that, that's kind of like my dream. And I think it's more to see, to be a part of other people's stories as well. Like as much as we want to build a big picture for ourselves, we want to see like other brands do well and succeed. And I think just a healthy like vision isn't always just centered around how many millions you could make. I want to see Brookvale just teeming with creativity. I want to see like they're already starting. You've got heaps of breweries around here.
Well,
You've
yeah.
also got like different agencies. You've got like we just
breweries,
the
mate.
distillery opened up just down the road. Like there's so much more, and they're all kind of hinging under artisanal food and drink vendors. But it's like it's craft, it's art, and I think it's. I guess the dream is to see like an arts like center for like the beaches be birthed here in Brookvale, and that and people come to Brookvale not because they want to get their car fixed or because they want to get
Macca's.
late night Macca's run
Or Sunday mornings for me.
or just go see the Eagles play. It's like no, this is so much more to Brookvale, and so I guess that's like just a dream for this place, but also like for us to see, I don't know, like other people come here and kind of build themselves off this place. Because hiatus for us, like when we started it, we wanted people to kind of feel like they've been like somewhere else. They're on hiatus, and I guess no matter how small or big the client is, it's like for them to come away from that and say, "Oh man, that's a great place." Like I feel different leaving. It's like that's what we want. So I guess that's the dream, to see big people come through and say the same thing. I guess that's it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So they are really trying to make Brookvale the next big spot for the beaches. James Griffin was talking about it. He was saying that's the big vision for the council and everything.
Right.
Yeah, because it started with label,
He was friends with Label, and then
which is a weird thing for a politician to
Yeah.
say. It's really odd.
Hey, James would have a pass, mate.
Oh well, yeah, he got bashed in Manly, and
Of course,
yeah.
that's how he got into
that's how he got into
Really?
politics. Yeah,
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I need to listen to his podcast.
Yeah,
It
like,
was
comment,
actually-
subscribe.
It was really cool, actually.
Yeah, I've met him before. He's a legend.
yeah, he's a good man. Well,
I actually do have a goal.
here we go.
I wanted one thing that I do want to do more of out of here, like the photography and day-to-day studio bookings, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. are awesome, and we're pretty much like where we wanted to be with that. But I definitely want to increase the amount of events that we do.
Yeah, cool.
Because we've got like 200 square meters inside, and then it flows out to like 150 square meters through a massive roller door. And there's like festoons hanging out there and beautiful plants. And we've done. I actually did my wedding here. It was so sick.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But we've done everything from like a 4th birthday up to a 60th.
Fourth birthday.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I cannot.
Was that the word?
Even,
Oh, actually, I can't
like-
say that. They were clients.
No, it was the most incredible 4th birthday you've ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like
it was
bougie.
like Kim Kardashian's children were here.
Brand-
Oh God.
Branded 4th birthday.
Dude, I'll show you some photos. Like, you can put them up on a
100%
screen on the
Unbelievable.
podcast.
Like I remember walking in here being like, "Where's the studio?"
My jaw dropped. It was like
Someone had a
they-
big vision.
Castle Ball.
dude,
Fucking hell.
yeah,
Every-
like crazy.
I was lucky to get a pat on the back. Let
Or
alone
a
that.
lolly bag.
I got
Or a
s-
lolly
I
bag.
got smacked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the event side, from like birthdays or whatever, to then also
Like
s-
launch
like
parties. And
launch
things.
parties, product nights, sample sales. I mean, we've done a lot,
Yeah.
but I'd like to sort of get that out there a bit more and get more people in for it because, like I said, outside of the 8 a.m. to the 5 p.m., not much goes on
Yeah.
unless, we've got something like that on.
Is it like noise restrictions here? What's that like? Is that fine?
I mean,
Industrial?
it's industrial, but we are still like respectful
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
of the area. So we don't really trade. We're not trading, but like the events, we sort of wrap them up before midnight
Yeah.
or like on midnight.
Just go to the front room and have a whip.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty is like there's so much going on at that time around
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Manly's stone's throw away. So yeah, that's a goal for me.
Yeah.
About the same.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. Like we've even thought about just like where studio here's like you're saying it's Monday to Friday, but like what about the other 2 days? There's so much potential within the space and within Brookvale. It's trying to be. We want Brookvale to be a destination, and I guess we're kind of looking at different ways to attract not just private but like more public things that people can come to here, whether it be like musicians or like wine tasting or something like that. It'll be really cool.
That would be sick. Wine tasting.
That's like the entry level to some of the other plans we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we've toyed with it. We did like state of origin screenings in here.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
so we had like a food truck pull up,
Yeah.
and we had, what was the most? We had like 60 people.
Yeah.
Really? That's
Just BYO. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't. There was no fee. I mean, we charged $5, I think.
UFC days.
Oh, that would be so good. Imagine a BYO UFC day.
could do a live
That
stream.
would be sick. BYO UFC.
You could do a live stream for sure. If you got like someone, big enough, you could easily do a live stream
do
here.
a UFC event in here.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Well-
instead of a ring.
Give me enough. Give me enough.
Hey, don't you do kickboxing?
Yeah, I've won twice now.
Nice.
One was rigged.
Yeah.
Rigged.
The opponent was a steroid user, so it was no, he's
No, it
not.
wasn't.
Yeah, he's not.
It was the coach, and the deal was if I go in, I would win, but I would just be like 9 minutes of getting
You're a
absolutely
punching
pumped.
bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
so I did it for the memes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right.
For the vibes.
Sounds cool.
wow.
Well, anyway, guys, it's a Friday night. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to promote before we let you get back to your probably busy weekend?
Nothing on my end.
No?
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We should be
Yeah.
thanking you. So thank you so much for coming
It's
on.
been
And
fun. First ever podcast.
I know,
You killed it as well.
first of
I'm
many.
nervous, I'll tell you what.
You should come do more.
I mean, I think people get sick of that, but appreciate it.
Nah, thank you. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow the boys Hiatus on Instagram. Their website's there as well.
And we'll put it in the show notes and blah, blah, blah. Share it on the story, etc., etc.
Book one of their rooms. They're really beautiful. You'll love it. Come down to the markets as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank
boys.
you.
Bye.
Flex, check, flex, check, flex, check. Diamonds in my veins, flex, check, flex, check, flex, check, flex, 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 flex.